Okay, sorry, it says, how can I help someone who is going through intense health persecution if the person is losing hope?
Yeah, that kind of, as I was kind of reflecting on the passage today and trying to bring that up a little bit, for a church, and especially our church culture, like evangelicals in North America, we fixate so much on this idea of being persecuted for our faith, and then if something else happens, we're kind of like, well, what do I do with that? How does that make sense? As if God doesn't kind of have anything to say or value to what you're going through. And that's why I kind of bring it back to that idea when we look at the cross, when we look at what did God choose to do as a human. There's a lot of things, but one of those things was to face and endure persecution as one who was weak and defenseless and without power. That's who he's kind of taken the identity of as a human being. And I think there's power in that then for people who find themselves in that situation as well. Because God is all powerful. I mean, He's the ruler of creation, the author of life and salvation. At the end of the day, all of creation will answer before Him. And to say that He's gone into the human world, taken on human flesh, walked as Jesus the man, and walked in those footsteps instead of like the powerful and the mighty, but He took on that form. I think it says that His eyes are especially on you, that He knows what you're going through, and He cares about what you're going through. Now, I think that that's powerful for anyone facing persecution. I think that really the power of that, though, is unlocked when we have a relationship with God. So for believers, I think it's really important to just always remember that part, that God is intimately with you and He is giving you all the power you need when all of the world seems to be taking away your power. And then for people who might be, if this person isn't a believer, then I think this is the greatest encouragement to help them to understand that in their powerlessness, what they really seek and what they need in that moment more than anything is God. The one who can actually bring true justice to bear in their lives, and is the only one who will bring them true victory and show them basically how, and that is in the footsteps of Jesus, how to live in that circumstance.
I think it's very tough too when you go through that situation, because a lot of the times for us, I mean, we put our identity, as you said, into things, whether it's work, whether it's into our health. The hard part is surrendering that. So when things begin to fall down, it takes a toll on people, right? Because then what you typically, from a human perspective, put your identity into, you're like, okay, God, this is out of my control. I can't do anything about this. And you go to Him with that. There's a sense of joy. And there's a sense of freedom from a Christian perspective, because we know this is just temporary life. And that's an aspect of it. But I mean, in the moment, I mean, from a human perspective, yeah, I mean, if you're going through health or any type of problem, it's going to be difficult. But at the end of the day, if you have your faith in God, I mean, it's temporary.
Yeah, absolutely. And I love what you said about identity in God, our identity in Christ. That's always most essential. Identity is a huge issue that we partake in so many ways. When we face suffering or persecution, our identity is often at stake. Whether part of our identity is what's being attacked, or we're at risk of losing, like you said, job or something like that, if it's our identities in. We need to be ultimately rooted in our identity in Christ. That's the identity that destroys all other identities. It will overcome them all. And we have to be rooted in that in order to, I think, remain steadfast and strong in the face of our suffering. It is ultimately the identity that God gives us, the most sure identity that we have. And it is the one with the most power, too, because it comes from Him. It is the truth of who we are. So thank you for reminding us of that as well. It's great.